Once you get to this stage when you have texture added all the way around and the clay becomes, it's starting to get towards kind of like that leather hard stage, you're going to be at a point where you feel like you're done. But there's a couple things we want to think about, we want to look at, okay? So if you look at the rim right here, it's kind of hard to see from the top view, but maybe from the side view you can see it. It's square right now. You guys see that? Yeah, you guys can see that it's square. So what we want to do is we actually want to curve it off. So I have this little drawing here, and right here, right now, it's squared. Okay, this is just like a cross section of it, but we actually want to curve it so it's nice and round. Okay, and we basically want to do this for any functional piece of pottery that we make, whether it's a cup or a bowl, whatever it is. We want to give it that rounded shape. Okay, so how do I do that? Well, we're going to take this tool right here. This is our in and out credit card tool. I have one from Tim Burton's. It says happy birthday on it. So cool, so cool. Wherever you get yours from, it's useful for kind of shaving the rim here. So we can take this tool, we can shave the rim. What I'm doing here is I'm holding the tool on like this 45-degree angle like that, and I'm just trying to cut that edge and make it more of an angle. And what we'll do is we'll do the inside and the outside, and then eventually it'll be more rounded, and we can just take our fingers here and smooth it out. So I'll just go ahead and do this all the way around. Notice I put my my bag underneath because this surface here, it sucks the moisture out, and I'm not ready for it to suck all the moisture. So I'm just gonna use that to spin this around. Just going a little bit at a time, all the way around the outside. And then I'll do the same, or sorry, that was the inside. I'm getting ahead of myself here. And then I wanna do the same thing on the outside. All the way around. Okay, and if you have any bumps, like this bump I have right here, you might spend a little bit more time on that area, just trying to remove the excess clay. We want to try to get this as smooth as possible, okay? Now, you don't want to go too far down if you've already added your texture in here, but when you start your second pinch pot in which you carve, then you can spend more time smoothing the outside. So let me show you what I mean. So I've got this little sponge here that helps me prop this up. So let's say you have this surface that's not incredibly bumpy or lumpy, but it's just not as smooth as you want it to be. You can take your tool and you just kind of curve it like this. And you hold it against your pot, and then you can pretty much just shave off those high spots. So any high spot that's lumpy, you just kind of shave off those chunks, and you start to make it more more smooth, okay? So back to the top here. If you have a paintbrush, which I gave you guys all a paintbrush, you can kind of use that dry and just kind of brush off any of these chunks that are hanging out around here. But let me show you what you do. You take your fingers just like this, okay? And you can run your fingers around here. What we're trying to do is we're trying to compress the clay. These high ridges that we have here that are sharp lines, we just want to blend them down and compress them so that they become more soft and smooth. What we're trying to do here is create this nice rounded edge, because I don't know about you guys, but when I'm finished with my cereal, I know when I was like, I don't eat like super sweet chocolatey cereal anymore, but when I used to, like Cocoa Krispies or Cocoa Pebbles or Cocoa Puffs, Cocoa Flakes, you name it, whatever it was, if it was cocoa, I was all about it. But you know, your milk gets all chocolatey at the end, it's so delicious. Well, I mostly eat like Raisin Bran now and plain Cheerios, because you know, I'm an old guy now. And those are tasty cereals, man, I tell you what. But anyways, when I drink the milk at the end, I want to put my lips to a nice smooth edge. I don't want to put it to like a jagged, sharp edge that's gonna make me, you know, feel like all pained up, you know, whatever that means. Pained up? I don't think anyone's ever said that in the history of life. Yeah, I don't want to experience that uncomfortable edge right there. So that's how you do it. You want to go all the way around and get this area smooth. So you guys can see how much better this side looks compared to even this side in this middle stage. But remember what it looked like before, where it was just like, it's kind of like flat like this. Okay, and it had a hard edge here and a hard edge there. Okay, so you're gonna continue to work on that edge to get it nice and cleaned up before you move on. Another thing you could do is you could take your tool, your credit card tool, and if you don't have it shaped, whoa, that was a loud noise. If you don't have it shaped like this yet, you can just kind of just cut it out. So basically, you take your tool and you just draw just like a little, like a half of a heart. Come on, you guys at least have a half a heart, right? I'm just kidding. I know you guys have a full heart. But, you know, it's like kind of like a half a heart. Right here, boom, shakalaka. And then you would cut that out, right? And then you would get this shape. And you can use this for smoothing out the inside. So notice when I was adding texture on the outside, it made all these lumps on the inside. And you might not like that when you're using your spoon on there to get your Cocoa Krispies, right? Cocoa Krispies, or your Count Chocula, right? So you just use a tool on the inside, and I'm kind of curving it a little bit, and I'm just scraping the walls. I'm trying to get those high points again. All those lumps. I'm getting rid of the lumps. All right, you guys follow? Does it make sense? All right, cool. All right, so all these scraps right here, they're gonna dry pretty quickly because they're small. So we wanna make sure that we don't let them become clay dust. So one really useful thing we can do with these is we can actually just, let me show you how I like to clean these up. So your credit card tool, you just kind of do this, gather it all together. I'm working on this surface here that I can just kind of move off my table, and then I can just scoop it into my hand. And I usually have a bucket somewhere that I can just put these into that has water in it. And that's really helpful for kind of keeping the clay dust down. And then I can just turn this into slip. So that's the lip. So that's how you would clean up the lip. You could, in essence, come down here and do the same thing with the foot. Just keep in mind that the foot is, you want to keep it nice and flat. So you might want to come in here like this and cut off any high points to make sure that it's nice and flat so it doesn't rock. So another thing you could do when it's still in the greenware stage is just in a circular motion, you can just do that, and then, you know, you just kind of keep doing that until you get rid of those high points. If you rubbing it and you notice there's some polished areas, those are usually the areas that are too high, because those are the ones that are touching this more than the other areas. So let's see if that fixes it. Yeah, it fixed it. So it's not wobbling anymore. All right, so, you know, again, I made some more scraps. So when they're wet, you can, you know, use a tool like this for getting rid of them. But when they're dry, you always want to use a sponge to clean up those, a wet sponge to clean up those dry scraps. Okay, so that's another tool for you guys. This is your credit card tool. You've seen me use this a few times in different ways. I want to show you how you're going to go about making a loop tool so that you can do the next pinch pot for this project, which is the carved pinch pot. Okay.